Hello, everybody. This is Saturday, and we have to talk about some MCU casting news. Apparently, there are a lot of actors who are scheduled to come back in the near future for Secret Wars, and we've got to talk about it. Alright, so with Avengers Doomsday being next up, for our big Avengers team up movies, we know that after that, the next Avengers team up movie is Secret Wars. Now, here's the catch. Everything that takes place in between Doomsday in terms of Marvel movies has pretty much been confirmed to take place on Battleworld. So, with that being said, the only exceptions are if it happens to be a prequel or set on a different world, and possibly, but we're more or less looking at anything that takes place before Doomsday chronologically won't be set on Battleworld, but anything that is taking place after the events of Doomsday will take place on Battleworld. So that's kind of been confirmed to us. I still say take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because we don't quite know how they're going to do this, how they're going to set things up, but we do know that Secret Wars is next. And with Secret Wars, we have some major information. A major rumor has come out by a very trusted source, My Time to Shine Hello. And My Time to Shine Hello claims that Scarlett Johansson, Tobey Maguire, Chris Evans, Wesley Snipes, and Nicolas Cage have all agreed to return for Avengers Secret Wars. This is on top of course, Robert Downey Jr. returning to these movies as well. But he's going to be playing a version of Doctor Doom. Now, it is still up in the air as to whether this version is going to be Tony Stark or whether it's actually going to be Victor Von Doom. But I have heard a lot of credible sources saying that he is indeed playing a version of Doctor Doom. In other words, a version of Victor Von Doom, not a version of Tony Stark, like a lot of people are running with. Now, whether or not this proves to be the truth or whether the other side is right is just one of those things we're going to have to wait and find out. However, he is one of the major stars that's returning. So what do these other people returning mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, we know that Natasha, the Black Widow, was killed. So with her actually being killed, we know that it is quite possible that Scarlett Johansson would be playing a variant of that character, without a shadow of a doubt. And she is currently working on her own Marvel project for a television show on Disney+. So we know that she is still associated with Marvel, so it would make sense that she could be persuaded to come back as Black Widow. So that's the number one thing there with her, is she is working with them, so she could be persuaded to come back. Now, in terms of the others, you have Chris Evans. Chris Evans had previously said he wanted to come back as Johnny Storm. Now, whether or not he returns as Johnny Storm in this movie, or whether he comes back as Captain America, it is safe to assume that he is on good standing with Marvel. And with him being on good standing with Marvel at this time, it's potentially possible he could return again as Johnny Storm, or he could return again as Captain America. He could even do both in the same movie, if that is something that would be plausible for him to do. And I'm sure he might actually be okay with that as well. Now, that's the thing with him. He is probably going to appear. I think it is safe to assume we will see him again, whether it is something that happens before Doomsday or afterwards in Battleworld. I think that is safe to assume. Okay, then we have to look at Tobey Maguire, who made an appearance in the last Marvel Spider-Man movie, the last Sony Marvel collaboration Spider-Man movie. And with that, if he was willing to come back for that, quite possibly he's willing to return in some capacity for this movie. Now, one thing we have to look at is Tobey Maguire is not in the shape he used to be in. He has said that he has back problems, and this may actually have something of an impact on whether he would be a long-term person within these movies or not. In other words, I wouldn't expect him to cameo except maybe in one movie. With that being said, I kind of look at it like Tobey Maguire is a bit of a wild card in this situation. Sure, he could return and he seems to be happy with Marvel. And with Sony kind of trying to present their own Spider-Verse, and the constant kind of battle that we are getting for rights on Spider-Man. I mean, of course, Sony wants the credit for having Spider-Man and they want to have him in their universe. And they put him on loan to Marvel. And you know, every couple of years we're getting that rumor that they're going to take him back to Sony exclusively and Marvel wouldn't be able to stop it. And I don't know how true that is or not true. I mean, that seems to be a bit of a legal thing that they would have to handle themselves. With that scenario that were actually to happen and Spider-Man was no longer available for them to use, then having someone like Tobey Maguire who is willing to step into the part would be something worth looking at. Although I think Andrew Garfield would be just as likely, but we haven't heard if Andrew Garfield is going to be in this movie or any movies in Marvel again. That brings us to Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes is a completely different story too. Wesley Snipes didn't have a very good experience on the last Blade movie, so it seemed to be that he wouldn't return. However, we actually ended up getting him willing to return to this part. And I think that that is a good thing. I think that having Wesley Snipes is just as good as having someone like Robert Downey Jr. that's a little bit older in these roles. Is it ideal to have him in this role where he might have to be playing this role for a while? Well, that depends. He is in pretty good shape and he does know a lot of karate and how to fight. He is one of those people that has been trained in a couple different martial arts as I understand it. So having him in there as Blade is okay if he can get into the proper shape to play the character and continue on for however long they need him. And he is obviously willing to do so, so that is also a very good thing. So last we have to talk about Nicolas Cage, because Nicolas Cage is a wild card in any situation, and he's of course a wild card here. Nicolas Cage is one of those actors that in the past has had to take roles he didn't really want to take because he ran into some problems with money. Well, he may or may not have that all done. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that he really did love playing the character of Ghost Rider. And with him wanting to play the character of Ghost Rider in the past, I don't think it would be too hard to convince him to come back as Ghost Rider. And kind of giving that character a send-off. Now, we do know something about Ghost Rider that we didn't know before. That is that the Marvel movie Deadpool and Wolverine actually wanted him for a cameo in that movie. However, that didn't happen. So being that that didn't happen there, they probably were able to strike up some sort of deal with him and say, hey, how would you like to be in Secret Wars instead? This would allow him to have a cameo or a bit more in that movie and kind of give a close to that character for him, a character that he absolutely did love to play. So kind of breaking it all down, a lot of these actors are okay with returning and they seem to be on good terms with Marvel. So I tend to believe that these rumors are kind of true, that these actors could in fact be on the slate to return to these roles. And why not? This whole battle world thing with Secret Wars is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be something that is crazy. It's going to be something that is just the most insane, wonderful thing that we've gotten from Marvel so far, because the sky is the limit as to what they can give us. They can give us all sorts of cameos, and they could be rapid fire. It could be a blink and you miss it cameo for a lot of different actors who have played in Marvel before. And that would fit the concept of what Battle World is. So doing it that way is not 1,000% insane. In fact, it actually works to our advantage as fans. It kind of gives you a reason to go and watch, knowing that all of these people, some of your fan favorites, may actually return. And in what capacities, we don't know. Now, I do think that someone like Scarlett Johansson will probably return in a larger capacity. Maybe they actually have talked her into returning, and she'll be in another couple Avengers movies, or get a couple standalone Black Widow movies. All of that is possible. And then Chris Evans is the only other one in this group that I think might come back for a larger role in the MCU, because he is still pretty young in terms of actors in these roles. And with Robert Downey Jr. getting a pay raise to play a different part, it is possible that he could be persuaded to come back as Captain America in the movies, and that wouldn't be a bad thing. He's done pretty good in the role of Captain America and has been pretty popular, so to have him return in that role wouldn't be a bad deal at all. I think that a lot of fans would still be behind him returning, and a lot of fans secretly hope that he does. So with all of that being said, those two actors are the most likely to have large roles. But with the other actors, I could see them returning in a smaller capacity, kind of cameos or something maybe a little more important than a cameo, just knowing that they won't be around for the long term. But I think it is likely that we will see them, if not in just minor cameos, in a bit more important role. And that is exciting in and of itself. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. Are you excited about the possible return of any of these actors? Would you like to see them have brand new actors in all of these roles? Or do you think bringing back some of our fan favorites is the way to go? Now, of course, all of these are rumors, so take them all with a grain of salt, but we still want to know what you guys think about it all. As always, we want to hear from you guys, so make sure you leave us that comment in the comment box below letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. Also, make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really appreciate it. Then also, Miko says we need more subscribers. So you don't want to disappoint Miko. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.